I was looking forward to that script all year because Ben England wrote that script. And Ben England wrote a cartoon called The Tick. I don't know if it's available here. It's a half-hour cartoon about mediocre superheroes. And it's really fun. And I was waiting all year for Ben's script. Ben's script comes out and I'm in one little scene. Like I have like 7 lines and I go up to Ben and I'm like, Ben, I'm funny, come on. Like, I've been looking forward to this. And Ben goes, James, don't even worry about it. I constructed this whole episode so that you would steal the show. So this is the best scene. I don't know if you know it yet or not, but this is the gold right here. And what I remember from that day is that basically I had a week off, which when you're doing television is really nice because you can actually sleep, which is nice. That's the weird thing about television. It's like you're supposed to be pretty, but they don't actually give you enough time to really sleep very much, and it goes on for years. So you come to work and you're just like, don't film me. I can't move my face today. But yeah, I get to work, and the first thing that happens is that Steve Tartaglia, stunt Spike, has to take this enormous ratchet gag where they've got him on a wire, and they lift him up about 10, 11 feet in the air, and then drop him onto concrete. And because the camera wanted to take him from close-up all the way to the back of the frame for that shot, it's a dicey shot, and they didn't get it the first few times. So Steve had to take that fall a lot. And I kept thinking, God, I'm glad I'm not a stuntman. Like, that is a nasty gag. There's no way. Like, stuntmen, their job is that they don't get hurt. Their job is that they're experts, and they can do this over and over, and they don't get hurt. But the truth is, they get hurt every time. So, dump Steve, and Steve is on the ground, and everyone's like, are you okay? And Steve's like, yeah, I'm fine. But the truth is, he's not fine. He's hurt, And so I was just thinking, like, God, Steve has a hard job today. And then they say, and James, would you please lie down? And I go into Steve's position, and it's just, I'm just so ashamed because it's so much easier, And then we ran into problems with a puppet because the puppeteers could be seen in the shots that the way they wanted to film it. The puppeteers couldn't get out of shot really easily. So at some point I was just like, oh, give me the sticks, and I beat myself up. So I was doing the beating up at the same time that I was laughing when I did that. Yeah, there's another time when and I actually saved that little scene because like it got to a point where we didn't know how to film it. And I was like, oh, I'll do it. And I remember there was another time on Buffy when we had this big dragon. Everyone was talking about the dragon, and they spent like $250,000 on this huge dragon suit, and there was like 5 or 7 people operating the dragon, and it was supposed to be this big, wonderful moment when we actually have great special effect, and we're so proud of ourselves. And they get the guys in the dragon suit, and the scene is in a sewer, I think, and the water is dumping on the dragon, right? Well, the dragon is made of foam, and when they tested it, the dragon is like 500 pounds, but you can still operate it with 7 people. Well, you dump water on foam, and 500 pounds becomes 3,000 pounds, and suddenly the dragon's like, and they're like, what's wrong with the dragon? And open up the belly of the dragon, and they open up the belly, and the puppeteers are like, and so the puppeteers had to leave because they had to go get some medical attention. They were like really in trouble, and we're just sitting there, and the dragon is deflated, and the water's coming, and the director's just almost crying because we don't know. Because this is television, you have to get those shots every day or you fall behind and it goes really bad really quickly. And I was just sitting back and looking and going, what do we do? And I was like, okay, how about this? How about just prop the dragon up on the rock behind me, and I'll sit in front of the rock, and then I'll grab the arms of the dragon and hit myself with the thing, and then we'll see if that works. They're like, it's not gonna work. I'm like, let's try it. There's nothing else to do right now. And we did that, and they're like, it's working, oh my God. And I look at the scene, and it does look horrible. It looks cheesy, but we got the shots, and we got it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
On screen at the same time, and that was me and Kelly.
And did you ever switch faces in school and stuff?
One time, in 6th grade.
Did you get caught?
We did, they were, okay, so it was 6th grade, and there were two 6th grade classes. Kelly had Mrs. Copeland's and I had Mrs. Green as a teacher. And then there were these other twins named Chad and Eric. Eric was in Mrs. Copeland's class and Chad was in Mrs. Green's class. So at one point we decided that the two twins would switch. But Chad and Eric looked nothing alike. Like Chad was stocky and Eric was very skinny. So after, I think, nutrition or lunch, Mrs. Copeland says to Chad, "Chad, get out of my class." And then so Chad gets up and walks out, and at the door he's like, "Come on, Nikki." And I'm like, "Why did you have to tell him? You know, we were doing it." So it worked, but it didn't work because Chad home.
And you read the job?
He did, but it's kind of like I never wanted to trick people. Like as a twin, I think you want to be an individual, which is why I'm happy that my mom gave us the names of Nicholas and Kelton. You know, not like Nikki and Nikki or Kelly and Nellie. You know, we did have one similar outfit. Not similar; it was exactly the same when we were in kindergarten. It was a train conductor outfit, like overalls and a hat. And whenever I would see that hanging on the door, I would say, "Ma," you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I would like to ask you, what was your first reaction when you read the script?
I kind of always knew. So, I kind of always knew that Xander wouldn't be with anybody even though I wasn't told. So I wasn't surprised that, because the way Joss works, he never really wants his characters to really be happy in love. Like, at least like the three, and even with Tony, because I mean, his calendar was killed, so nobody ended up, and Tara was killed, so I knew that it was not going to end well. Usually it's like with the first, like with the top, with like me, Sarah, or Alice, and if anybody was romantically involved with those three characters, they were going to die at some point. You just knew that, you know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I mean, it's really hard to say because because I know what's happened in the comics, and I know that Joss said if there is a movie, it's not going to be based on the comics. It's just kind of his way of kind of telling the story still. But I don't know. Maybe like working as a circus clown, like all in a big regalia, wearing a suit made out of cheese. Maybe a new look. I know that suit. Yum. Cheese. Maybe a new look. Maybe a new love. Yeah, I mean, I want Xander to have as much love as possible. Hello.
I have a Xander question. In the first episode, you ride a skateboard.
Yeah.
You never ever did that
No.
again. Is it because you sucked at skateboarding?
Yeah.
So I answered my question.
I mean, it
myself.
wasn't. I'm an athletic guy, so
I can see that.
I get. So I could do it, but I think essentially what it comes down to is that it becomes, if I were to fall and hurt myself, it would really screw production. So it's like, why?
But why then they wrote it in the script?
Because I think if it was, say, like a movie, because the first thing, it's like when you're writing it's like you're not even sure if the show's going to get picked up. So the show gets picked up, and all of a sudden it's like, we should lose the skateboarding. Because also, too, remember I skateboarded, and then I did that flip around the thing, which I love doing that kind of comedy, but I couldn't sustain that. I mean, there would be a chance where I would break my leg, and then Xander would have a broken leg, or Nikki would have a broken leg. Xander.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I would go feed the homeless. I would do that. Yeah, no, that's, well, what would you do? If you could,
Sports and have sex.
you would do sports and have sex? Would you have sex with guys or with girls? With girls?
Just to see how it is.
Just to see what it felt like? I guess, I don't think I ever want a penis inside of me. So maybe I would just kind of, I don't know, walk into a female locker room just to see what it looked like, even though I know that it's not pretty. You know what I mean? It's not like the movies. So I would go into places that I couldn't go into without getting arrested. I would really try to understand the plight of a woman.
What?
Like, just like, the struggle of, so that I would become a better person. When I became a man again, I could understand them more. And I would kind of hope that I was going to be having my period for that day as well, just so that I could know, Instead of saying, shut up, you know what I mean? You're only bleeding. I've got emotional pain here. So, maybe that?
Good answer.
Okay.
I heard a lot of rumors about the Buffy cinema film.
Right.
Yeah, so what do you think about the cinema film?
Well, I would love it if the characters that, like, if we did it. I know that they tried to do one, like a reboot, and that was squashed pretty quickly. And I think it was kind of squashed by you guys, because they realized that nobody would see it. But I think James had touched on Brendon Kazooie, who owned the rights, and they had made a lot of money off of the show. And you kind of forget, because it was just, they bought the rights, and they hit the lottery with this thing. So it's kind of, and now it's like, oh, well, yes, of course we do this, but I just wish that they would loosen up a little bit so that you guys, so we can work and do the characters again, and you guys could get more of it, Like, I wish that they could come to these things, and see how much the show affects people. That's not just about dollars, It's about, the relationships and how it affected the fans. So maybe one day that'll happen, but as of right now, it hasn't. You're welcome.
How is it to play a vampire for one episode?
I liked it for one episode. Because I like to be funny, and I think being cool, like that kind of, it just gets a little cheesy, you know what I mean? So I kind of like to be goofy, but it was great for one episode. Did you like, which one, did you like Xander funny, or did you like Xander as a vampire?
Funny.
Funny, yeah. So I was happy to do it. I was happy to kind of have that little threesome scene with Willow and with Cordelia. And, but then I was happy to take it off. So, yeah. You're welcome. Taunt me. Plays well with others. A warning label. Gosh. Right, what's that? Yeah, may contain nuts. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Could cause anal bleeding. And death. Don't get attached. I think I would. It depends on the day, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
I'm trying to become a better person.
How's it working out for you?
I think it's working out good. I think it is. I think it is. Every day I try to become good. You know what I mean? I try to really be better every day. Not that I'm bad, but I want to give joy and love. Don't feed me alcohol, that's for darn sure. That will just create a monster. So that, I can tell you right now, that's, yeah, so there we go. So you got a few. Okay.
First of all, I got a Xander action figure at home.
Do you really?
Yes.
Actually, Xander probably is more of a doll because he didn't really do much.
Yeah, that was my question. Why there is no that much Xander stuff at the market?
You know, I think that there was the show to them was like sexy. Like they never understood that it was really a comedy. You know, that like it was like there would be like dramatic scenes, but then Joss would always kind of pull it back with comedy. But you know, sex sells, and they didn't see Xander as a sexy character. You know, he was necessary. Without Xander, the show wouldn't have worked. Or without me playing Xander, the show. But I just felt that, you know, like the Spike and the Angel, they really kind of, you know, glommed onto that, and they sold the sex aspect of it, which I think probably did us good as well, because, you know, sexy and funny.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like I play a nerd a lot, you know,
Yeah.
so it's like I'm like Hollywood's version of a nerd,
Yeah.
you know, so it's kind of, which I'll take.
Oh, they made a lot of trading cards from you.
And see, that's it, because I'm a nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Enjoy my class. But they think me lots, so.
Okay, so
Switch my address.
so you were talking about not having any powers. If you could have any of the powers from the show, which one would you have? Like of all the various heroes and monsters that we have.
I would like to fly like Peter Pan.
Does that really happen in the show? I suppose Willow flies in the comic.
Guess. How about levitate for a second?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do that.
Okay.
With like fire coming out of my palm.
Like Firestorm.
And like those big black eyes.
Okay. Alright, fair enough.
Okay.
And other question was slightly more serious. So throughout the series, Xander is possibly one of the most like rabidly anti-vampire people. He's always the first person to kind of call him evil soulless things, which is fair enough because he has the whole experience with Jesse in like the first 2 episodes. But then in like the 7th season, and for like no apparent reason, he seems kind of more okay with it. Like he seems more okay with Spike. Like he you have this whole mean roomies thing again, and he's not really so bad about it as he was saying in season 4.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think that's probably his take on that.
Okay. So you just kind of got used to it.
Yeah, and he was just kind of like, you know, Spike, I think Xander felt that Spike was his main competition for Buffy.
Okay.
And then it's like, and he knew that he was just losing. So I think it was kind of for him, he was just accepting life on life's terms.
Okay. Alright, thank
It's
you.
the most I've ever thought about it, but yeah.
Alright,
Thank you.
Question, did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
You know, yes, here's the thing. I would watch it when I would do my cardio on the bike, you know, and then I watch it a lot. And then I just felt like I was strung out. And it's a hard show to watch. It's hard. I mean, it really is tough. And so I just got through half of season 3, maybe? And I need to pick it up again. But like, I was watching it like every day, and I was just like, I think Jesse, is it Jesse?
Yeah.
His girlfriend had just OD'd, and he kicked with the
Heisenberg.
came in and didn't help him. I'm like, because I liked him. Like, I liked Bryan Cranston's character. Like, you felt for him. But in that moment, when he didn't help her,
Yeah.
because I guess he was jealous a little bit.
Yeah, because she basically said that.
Yeah, I mean, but so it's like, I did not, and I knew that I was going to not like him more. I had heard things about the show where one of my favorite scenes ever, though, was when he blew up that building.
The hospital.
No, when the drug kingpin,
yeah,
and he's just walking away, yeah. I was stoked with that, but I knew that it was just gonna kind of go downhill. I'm now ready to see him play a badass, but at that point, he was trying to save his marriage, he had his kid, he was doing it for, if you can sell crystal methamphetamines for the right reasons, he was doing it for the right reasons.
So who's your favourite character in Breaking Bad? I can't remember.
I think the girlfriend that was killed off.
Okay, cool. And,
I mean, like, Heisman, come on. It's gonna be a Heisman.
Okay, and I was going to ask you if you want to cook that, but I think that's something that.
Oh, want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say is watch it until the end. I would say it's the best program besides Buffy. really do go.
Yeah, I heard pretty. Yeah, I did.
Thanks, mate.
You're very welcome.
Hey. I survived the chairs of death, Nick. They lowered them though. They lowered the chairs so they know us.
Let's just see where it goes. I think I'm pointing due north right now, pretty much. It's a compass.
So again, Nick, I like to answer questions rather than just like go on and on and on. And so again, you're so brave. Love you. Okay, good.
Hi, I want to ask you, which was the funniest scene you shot together?
Well, so I'm writing the Buffy comics this year, and so when we had the writers' summit, while the writers got together, I had said how much one of my favorite arcs of all time was when Spike and Xander were living together in the basement.
Yeah.
Which is why we brought it back in the comics, and now we give each other advice. It's actually really sweet. So I think just that 3-episode arc for me was just hysterical, and we had such a great, our characters and as actors had such a great working relationship.
Because we hated each other.
But it was a fun hate though.
No, we like each other.
Like Xander and Angel hated each other, but there was no fun there. The Spike and Xander hate was so.
See, the thing for me is that, from my perspective, playing the scene, it wasn't funny at all. Because my character was always in a bad mood. He would always rather be alone. He would always rather kill you than talk with you. So, like, yeah, it was a funny scene, I'm in your basement, but I was just playing, I'm pissed off, I don't want to be there.
Xander wants to talk to everybody. Yeah. So that it turns, I think the overall, just that arc was just a lot of fun.
I almost got fired for that scene though, because I was hired to be the new Cordelia on Buffy. That's why I got the job. Like I came in as a guest star and then I got off. But then once Cordelia went over to Angel, they needed another character to come in and say, Buffy, you're stupid and we're all gonna die. And so they said, okay, maybe Spike could be that character. So they had me running around with a blanket over my head for lots of episodes, smoking and stuff. And Joss was saying, we can't do this every time. And I was starting to think that it wasn't going to work out and I was going to get fired. And once they put me in the Xander shirt, I was like, it's all over. Like on the Hawaiian shirt or whatever that was. And I was like, they're just destroying the character. They're about to kill me off. And I was not happy about wearing the Hawaiian shirt. And Joss found out that I was not being happy on the set, and he let it be known that I was about to be fired. I was like, what? I was just not joking around. Ready for her, and it would be awesome for them to end up together.
Yeah, well, I just have one more question. So, so how would you say that you are like similar to Spike, and how would you say that you're different? Like, apart from the whole murder.
The thing is that, like, when you play a character, there was a quote from a philosopher, who was that guy? It was a 19th century philosopher. He said, within all men are all men. And he was in the 19th century. If he was in the 21st century, he would have said, within all people are all people. But what he meant was that we all have a lot of different facets to our personality. And we share all of that with each other. And as an actor, that meant that I can pretty much play anything. And so I just take, like, I might know about 10 facets of my personality, and I use 2 or 3 that fit the character. The parts of me that fit Spike are not the parts that I show you. They're the parts that I wake up with and I have to talk myself out of. And it's the jerk inside me, basically. And it's not funny. And it's not pleasurable. And if people have to go, it's like before the coffee in the morning. And people that see that side of me are kind of like, whatever, bye. But then if you combine that side of me with Joss's humor, you get Spike. and it's really it's wonderful to watch. But yeah, I wouldn't. It is me. Spike is me, but without the jokes.
I'll probably do that when I think.
I've been dying to know. Nothing at all. Alright, second question.
I'm sorry. The thing about Buffy, we were known as Buffy the Weekend Slayer. Like, most TV shows go 12 hours a day, and then they cut off. Because after 12 hours, you have to pay the crew double. So most producers go 12 hours and you're done. I don't care how good it looks, you're done. But Buffy went, what do we go, maybe 12, 20 hours sometimes? It was 16, 18 hours. There were people in town, both on the crew and actors, who refused to work on the show because we were known for busting out. Because, I mean, we had practical effects, we had some computer effects, we had fights, we had love scenes, we had all the different elements that would make a show run long. And we did them every day. And so we were just tired.
And like we'd have 2 or 3 units going at a time, so we'd be done over here, we had to go to a different unit to finish the episode before.
So it wasn't a lot of like, it was really like cut.
You know, there was one time, it was I think season 1 or season 2, but Charisma was on the show and it was her birthday, and so Joss got her a birthday cake, and we were all singing on set. You know, Joss was kind of like leading it. And we had this line producer named Gareth Davies, and Gareth Davies is the fun police. Like, you can't, if you're laughing, you're not working. So he had heard we were singing happy birthday, and then he comes in, he's like, what is this shit? You know, like, get back to work. And Joss is like, dude, and then Charisma starts crying, you know, we're just singing happy birthday. Like, we literally, if you, like, and the whole set was thinking, he's like, I don't, you know, he just didn't understand anything about how to be a human being. Lovely man. But on set, he had one job, and it was to make sure that he made a day, and he never once made the day.
Gareth was like Darth Vader.
Yeah,
He came in one day, I don't know if you were there, he comes in and he goes, all right, who's not ready? And the prop guy goes, oh, Gareth, it's me, I just trying to do that. You're fired. Now, who's not ready? Yeah. But the thing about Gareth, though, I loved him.
Yeah.
Because the thing that you want is you want the producers to be in control of the show. If the actors take over, it's bedlam. It's just Alice through the looking glass, weirdness every day. So I'd rather have a producer who was friendly and in control, like the dude Jack Kenny, who was a producer on Warehouse 13. He terrified people, but with jokes. But he made it really clear that I'm in control of this, and if you don't want this job, just tell me, and I'll make sure you don't have it anymore. Fine. But it was always funny. Gareth wasn't funny, but at least he was in control.
And also with actors too, so he was nicer to us. I'll bet you that.
Oh, yeah.
I just hated him. But it's also kind of strange too that Joss didn't have that control of the set yet.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and that was one of the, that was probably like one of the defining moments to where Joss is like, whoa, this is my show, this is my set. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, Joss needed Gareth.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I got one other question. Now with Xander, my favourite fight scene with you is with Harmony when you guys are just cat fighting all the time. But
In slow motion.
and with James, what was your favourite fight scene? Because you had loads of Buffy and Angel. What was your favourite one that you recorded?
I liked being up on the car. It was Angel and Buffy and I early on. And they blocked me up on a car, which meant it was a little bit dicey. And they showed me a little bit of trust because when you're up that high on a platform, there's a lot there's more that can go wrong. And so that was nice. Actually, probably my favorite moment was in an outdoor fight between Spike and Buffy when Buffy leaps at Spike, and he grabs her midair and then slams her down on a glass table. And that was metal frame. And I wasn't doing it to Sarah, it was a stunt double. But the thing is, she comes into my hands and I've got to guide her down to the table just right. Because it's a metal frame table, and if I guide her wrong, I'm going to lay her out halfway on the thing, I'm going to break her in half, you know, or not her, because she was like so strong. But it was not good. And it was the fight choreographer's wife. Right? So they said, we're going to have you do this. I was like, are you sure? This is a dicey gag. Like, if I don't do this right, she's going to get hurt. And they're like, no, we trust you, man, go. And we did it, and it worked out great. It's a great shot. Boom, glass goes. But yeah, they're like, they trust me. Yeah.
Thank you, both inspirations.
Right on.
Again, the Buffy stuff is just, we didn't have much time to do crazy stuff.
Wow, yeah, like, again, it was just a fight to get everything on film so much. There wasn't a lot of joking around. I guess the craziest thing I did was light myself on fire.
That's pretty crazy.
That's insane. The only reason they let me do it is because I was only in one episode the whole year, and it was my final shot, so they figured if he dies, fine. Really, you know? And I remember, the whole gag was that he's drunk and he falls asleep in the sunshine, outside, and wakes up because he's being lit on fire. So I thought it would be funnier if I let the burn go on longer, and he's just burning there before he wakes up. And this is when I learned, never do that.
Was this early on? Was this when you?
This is season 3, right? So like, I learned that you do exactly what the stunt people tell you to do, and that's so that you don't get hurt. So I let it go on too long, and I ended up burning the living hell out of my hand. There were blisters all over my hand. And I remember realizing what I'd done, and I just said, I've got to get off this set before it shows that I've blown the stunt. Like, normally it would be like, I need a doctor, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, don't tell them, like, get your own doctor, dude. Because if they see how badly you blew the stunt, they'll never give you another stunt. So, luckily, I knew that if I was going to come back on the show, it would be next year, and I had time to heal, and they didn't find out. Yeah. Thank you.
Season enemy for the whole season.
I think the 3 nerds, they were awesome. I think they were the most interesting, you know? Because they were fighting in and amongst each other, and there's just so much of that. And they ended up being really horrible. They ended up killing Tara. So they ended up being very villainous. But I think that it showed how real evil is not cool. You know, like to Joss Whedon, evil is not cool. And that's why he always had a problem with Spike. Because he only made me look cool because his intention was that Buffy and Angel were going to sleep together. Angel would go evil and to break her heart. And his first act of evil would be to kill me and take up with Drusilla. So, in order to make Angel look cool, he had to make me look really cool, because so when Angel killed me really easily, then Angel would look like the man. And then he decided not to kill me, and he's like, oh no. It is so cool. And so I remember Joss one time, he backed me up against the wall, and he goes, I don't care how popular you are getting. I don't care. You are dead. You are dead. You are dead. But he didn't kill me. I was like, fine, dude, it's your football, whatever.
I never had that problem. Yeah, it wasn't like.
And you were Joss. You were the character that's Joss.
Yeah, so.
I'm telling you that.
But I never had the thing where it's like, I don't care how popular you are. Yeah, oh man, I know. I'll tell the jokes. I'll be your butt monkey.
Oh, you always thought you were the butt monkey, but you were not. You were Joss. That's how Joss felt when he was in high school.
Yeah.
You were the.
I think still now.
Xander is Joss. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. From.
So yeah, the nerds. I think. Yeah.
You mean like season? Spike. I wish I could say that you were evil in the public, but I love it. You know, we're actually roommates now in the comics. We give each other relationship advice.
Really?
I think, not because of content, but I think The Master was my favorite just because the whole first season for me, everything was so, I couldn't believe I wasn't working, I couldn't believe I had a job, A. B, that I was a working actor. So everything in that first season was just magical. Like, the smells, the colors, you know? I mean, you fall in love for the first time. That first love, and it's just like you just see and hear things differently. And then that bitch breaks your heart.
You're in love with the Master?
No, the whole show. Yeah, because his mouth.
That would be weird.
His mouth. So I think that's where I'm gonna go. I can't get the Master out of my mind. You're welcome.
For names, what do you think was the greatest girlfriend? Drusilla or Harmony?
There was Anya for a night. Drusilla. I mean, Harmony, great. That's a great character, but Spike she was just a stand-in for Buffy. Like, even went so far as to have her dress up as Buffy to try to get his interest, because he was really, he was angry at Buffy for not responding to him, and so he picked someone that could look a little like Buffy and then just tortured her. You know, that's sick. So, but the thing is that when I came on the show, I believe that whenever, as an artist, whenever you approach something, you have to find the love. If you find the love in what you're doing, then I say you find the vein of gold that you can mine forever, right? And so I was like, I'm playing a character who just kills people. He's a soulless, blood-sucking fiend. Where is the love in that, you know? And then it was right in front of my face. He loves his girlfriend. And so I decided to love her with a purity, that as much purity as I could muster. And it wasn't really in the script necessarily that he had that, because sometimes he put her down and stuff, and I tried to find a way to get the lines so that it wouldn't really be so mean to her. And so I think I found through that relationship where Spike could have something more interesting than just I'm a little sucker.
How old is this one at this point?
She's 12. No, it's good, funny. When I first found out, somebody told me, and I was like, "Hey, did you know that you had gone dating?" And I'm like, "What?" And then I think I told you the story before, and I'm like, "It's because it's always Michelle when she was 13 and she started."
Yeah.
But then she was in a spread of FHM, the magazine, and like she's not 13.
I don't even know that.
It's like 2 years ago. And I'm like, all right, I'm cool with it. Yeah. That's weird, yeah. She's not 13.
No, of course not.
I mean, she's like literally, yeah. She grew up. I didn't come up with it. I just gotta write it. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like.
I think that Spike knew that Buffy was going through just an incredibly hard time, where suddenly, like, she was in heaven, man. She got her reward for being a hero, and she got sucked back into Earth, and now she's got to be a mom and work at a burger joint with a weird hat, you know. And so it was really like, I'll help you, Buffy. I'll help take care of your daughter now. And plus, she's a nice person, you know. That was pretty much it. It was like, my character didn't really care about anybody except for Buffy and Buffy's daughter. Like, I remember when we were shooting on the set, and you're like hurt in the corner, and all the Scoobies are all around you, like caring so much about you, and I'm like over the corner, bored. And the director comes up, he was the first time director, he never directed the show before, he's like, "James, you gotta go, Xander's bleeding over there, you gotta go over and care about him, and you're a regular, he's a regular, come on." And I'm like, "I don't care. I'd like him to die right now. No, let's read more of the scripts, man, no." Yeah, I got I don't care. I thought that was fun.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Okay, and one last question because I'm going to push me away. So in that last scene in Chosen between Spike and Buffy, when she says "I love you" and he says "No, you don't," but thanks for saying it.
Yeah.
So did Spike believe? Do you in your opinion, did Spike believe that she loved him and was just trying to make her leave and not die, or did he genuinely not think she loved him?
I think that he knew in his core that he didn't deserve her. After that bathroom thing, he just has gotten a soul, and he is not anywhere near ready to be ready for her, and she's not a fool. You know, he's just figuring this out. Like she only needed me because she felt dead inside. She wanted to be excited. And at that moment, she's feeling love for him. You know, like maybe she was saying, "I love you" as a person or whatever. And he's dying, and she wants to be nice and everything. But he's like, "Buffy, you're way above me. Don't even say that." That you know, I'm gonna die. You know, like, yeah, I really think that it's like thanks so much. Thanks. I'm glad that you like